Moses. It's a bike race over muddy terrain. Mode over muddy terrain. This word was suggested by Marcel Duchamp for art in a 1932 exhibit that included Alexander Calder. Mobiles. Jimmy of the Clue Crew performs an experiment in mechanics. Drop a matchbox, and it falls over, but open the box, and it stands, because the drawer sliding shut uses the stabilizing power of this, defined as mass times velocity. Momentum. Instead of taking over his dad's upholstery business, he went on to become France's greatest comic dramatist. Molière. The Vikings used human blood to christen their ships. Thank Odin, this potent potable is traditional today. Champagne. New Orleans mayor warned a post-Katrina Mardi Gras crowd that it's bad luck to drink a toast with this stuff. Water. A traditional Irish toast runs, "May the Lord keep you in his hand and never close this too tight on you." His fist. In Scots lore, a single person who gets the last lucky glass in a New Year's bottle will soon do this. Lucky. Och. Get married. The Royal Navy has a traditional toast for each day of the week. Saturdays is to these, may they never meet. Wives and girlfriends. Two Men and a Wardrobe, Death, and the Maiden, the pianist. Roman Polanski. Amarcord, La Strada, La Dolce Vita. Federico Fellini. Fahrenheit 451, Jules and Jim, The 400 Blows. Francois Truffaut. Tie me up. Tie me down. High heels, talk to her. Pedro Almodovar. Mona Lisa, The Crying Game, Interview with the Vampire. Neil Jordan. To breathe in, unlike Mr. Clinton. Inhale. An alphabetical reference list. Index. One life in a series of lives. Incarnation. Like the Pope, not capable of error in matters of doctrine or dogma. Infallible. Picnic won him a Pulitzer in 1953. William Inga. Rocky Mountain NBA team. The Nuggets. Wintry activity seen here. Tobogganing. What Harry Potter would consider me as a non-practitioner of magic. A muggle. Some linguists claim this word can mean only to make worse and never to irritate. Aggravate. Worn out surname of a King Solomon's Mines author. H. Rider Haggard. 1939, Toto, I've a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. The Wizard of Oz. 1941, I guess Rosebud is just a piece in a jigsaw puzzle, a missing piece. Citizen Kane. 1951, Stella. A Streetcar Named Desire. 1994, alrighty then. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. 1995, they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. Braveheart. In music, it's also called a quaver. An eighth note. In 1948, citation became the eighth to win this, and the last for 25 years. The Triple Crown. This eighth book of the Old Testament is named for a Moabite woman. Ruth. Louis IX of France died during the eighth of these campaigns. Crusades. The Constitution's Eighth Amendment prohibits excessive bail and fines and these two kinds of punishment. Cruel and unusual. This general eventually won the Civil War, toppling the elected Spanish government. Franco. These two Axis powers backed and supplied the rebel fascist revolt. Germany and Italy. Supporters of the government were known as loyalists or as these, also an American political party. Republicans. The Civil War ended in March 1939 when fascist forces finally succeeded in taking the city. Madrid. Many areas were indiscriminately bombed and destroyed, like this town seen in a famous 1937 painting. Guernica. Instead of a president, each of the states has this chief executive. Governor. The U.S. Constitution has 7 articles and 27 of these additions. Amendments. This group that meets in the Capitol started in 1789 with 22 members and now has 100. Senate. NASA, which was created in 1958, stands for National Aeronautics and this administration. Space. Justice Department head Janet Reno isn't called the Secretary of Justice, but this. Attorney General. He was the creator and behind-the-scenes master of the Muppets. Jim Henson. Pop Warner called him the greatest football player of all time. Jim Thorpe. The term horsepower owes its origins to an experiment by the steam engine inventor. James Wood. In 1975 he left the Berlin Philharmonic, where he was principal flutist, to pursue a solo career. James Galway. During the 1970s he served as CIA Director, Secretary of Defense and Secretary of Energy. James Schlesinger. In 1988 this 1962 Frank Sinatra film based on Richard Condon's novel was re-released to the theaters. The Manchurian Candidate. Joe Eszterhas received a record $3 million for his script of this 1992 Michael Douglas Sharon Stone film. Basic Instinct. Joseph Wiseman played the lanky title villain in this 1962 James Bond movie, the first in the series. Dr. No. The finale of Alfred Hitchcock's Saboteur takes place on this national landmark. Statue of Liberty. Barbara Stanwyck got an Oscar nomination for her role in this 1948 thriller based on a 1943 radio play. Sorry, wrong number. It's fun to pull this saltwater candy into long strands, then cut it into bite-sized pieces. Taffy. In 1995 Mrs. Gooch's Market in Glendale, California baked a 710-pound cake made from 825 of these orange veggies. Carrots. Frankenberry, Blueberry and Count Chocula are types of these made by General Mills. Breakfast cereals. Guinness says the largest of these treats was a jelly one that weighed 3,739 pounds, hope no one tried to dunk it. Donut. If their ice cream was known by their last names, they'd be scooping up Cohen and Greenfields. Ben and Jerry \S. He cast down 30 pieces of silver in the temple and departed, and went, and hanged himself. Judas. In the first chapter of Luke, she said, "My soul doth magnify the Lord, and all generations shall call me blessed." Mary. Sin committed by the woman about whom Jesus said, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." Adultery. This disciple said, "Except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, I will not believe." Thomas. After finding the disciples asleep in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus said, "This indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." The Spirit. He wrote The Murders in the Rue Morgue shortly after becoming editor of Graham's magazine. Edgar Allan Poe. It's thought that this gift of the Magi author partly took his pen name from a prison guard. O. Henry, William Sidney Porter. The Celestial Railroad from his Twice Told Tales is a parody of John Bunyan's works. Nathaniel Hawthorne. Sunnyside, the old Dutch home he remodeled in Tarrytown, NY, was made a public shrine in 1947. Washington Irving. Of this author of The Necklace, Flaubert said, "He's my disciple and I love him like a son." Guy de Maupassant. Many an actor has browsed through plays at the Drama Bookshop, which moved from this square to W40th St in 2001. Times Square. These distinctive-looking programs have been given out in Broadway theaters since 1884. Playbill. Talk about tradition. In 2004, Alfred Molina starred in the fourth Broadway revival of this musical. Fiddler on the Roof. Sarah of the Clue Crew stands on stage in the Golden Theater in New York wearing a motley raiment. On a Broadway musical's opening night, the gypsy robe is presented to a chorus member by this actors' union. Equity. Broadway's lights are dimmed to honor late, great luminaries, such as this lyricist, partner of John Kander. Fred Ebb. This U.S. state, here I come, right back where I started from. California. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got this? Fun. When this man comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. Johnny. This title completes the line, "Now I ask you very confidentially." And /T she sweet. I'm looking over one of these that I overlooked before. A four-leaf clover. When Jason Kidd was drafted by this Texas NBA team, he said, "We're gonna turn this team around 360 degrees. The Dallas Mavericks. He's the former vice president who wisely said, "If we do not succeed, then we run the risk of failure." Dan Quayle. French president from 1958 to 1969, he observed, "China is a big country, inhabited by many Chinese." Charles de Gaulle. This 30th president noted, "When more and more people are thrown out of work, unemployment results." Calvin Coolidge. They only name things after you when you're dead or really old, quipped this first lady when the CIA HQ was renamed. Barbara Bush. Homecoming Scotland is a year-long celebration for this man's 250th birthday on January 25, 2009. Robbie Burns. November 3rd is the national day to celebrate this, be it tuna fish or peanut butter and jelly. Sandwich Day. Confederate Heroes Day is celebrated January 19th, the birthday of this general. Robert E. Lee. Appropriately, National Stress Awareness Day is observed on this date, one day after Tax Day. April 16th. Dictionary Day, October 16th, celebrates the birthday of this American lexicographer, look it up. Noah Webster. This king romanced Mary Boleyn before her sister and lost her head over him. Henry VIII. A tall, thin mistress of George I was nicknamed this, for a tall, thin thing folks dance around on May 1st. Maple. She blamed Prince Albert's early death in part on anxiety over their son Bertie's fling with an actress. Queen Victoria. This king nicknamed Lackland didn't lack a love life, he had at least 7 children out of wedlock. John. This famous diarist's wife called King Charles II's mistress Moll Davis the most impertinent slut. Samuel Pepys. The British tell the tale of St. George and this, the Apocrypha has the Book of Bell and this. The Dragon. You can read his song in the Old Testament and his wisdom in the Apocrypha. Solomon. There are up to 4 books of this military group associated with Hanukkah. The Maccabees. Break out the Hamantasken. The Apocrypha contains additions to her Old Testament book. Esther. This beautiful widow who beheads General Holofernes gets her own book. Judith. In The Buccaneer, Yul Brynner played this pirate who aided Andrew Jackson in the Battle of New Orleans. Lafitte. In a 1953 comedy, Abbott and Costello try to go to this planet but end up at Mardi Gras instead. Mars. Critic Michael Kleinskrod said of Dennis Quaid in this movie, the very worst example of a New Orleans accent. The Big Easy. In this movie, Bette Davis plays a Southern belle who loses Henry Fonda when she wears a red dress to a ball. Jezebel. One of the great poker movies of all time is this New Orleans set period piece with Steve McQueen in the title role. The Cincinnati Kid. The pineal gland is a pea-sized organ located in the supervisory center of the nervous system. The brain. The submandibular gland is below the mandible, which is this. The jawbone. Kelly of the Clue Crew cuts an onion. When you cut an onion, its amino acids create an irritant to these glands. Tear glands, or lacrimal glands. These nodes are glands, and they aren't just in the head and neck, there are more under the arms too. Lymph nodes. In humans, T cells develop in this gland under the breastbone. The thymus gland. The two French-speaking groups in Louisiana are the Creoles and this group originally from Canada. The Cajuns. Experts say a proper mint julep should be made with the state's bourbon. Kentucky. Havana-style cigars are made in this Florida city, an embarkation point for Spanish-American war troops. Tampa. The name of the city, home to the University of Alabama, comes from the Choctaw for Black Warrior. Tuscaloosa. The first chair factory in Thomasville in the state opened around 1870. North Carolina. A word meaning to make someone angry, or the last name of Al Michaels' former broadcast partner. Madden. A synonym for bile, or what an annoying person does to you. Gall. It's spelled the same way as an aromatic substance you burn, but with a different stress. Incense. From Latin for call forth, it's to make someone angry enough to lash out. Provoke. In Scrabble words, irk has face value of 7, this 3-letter synonym, 13. Vex. In 1926 they were partnered by director Leo McCarey, and the rest is history, a fine mess, but history. Laurel and Hardy. Meriwether Lewis and this man led the Corps of Discovery from 1804 to 1806. William Clark. By their last names, it looks like the actors seen here, partnered in 1997, were actors under aliases. Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. William Hewlett and this other engineer joined forces in the late 1930s. David Packard. In 1853 he borrowed $60 from his friend Henry Lom to help his optical goods shop. John Bosch. She played Rose on The Golden Girls for 7 years. Betty White. It was the colorful WWI nickname of Manfred von Richthofen. The Red Baron. This country singer married Lisa Hartman in 1991. Clint Black. Cha-ching. He's the young actor seen here. Seth Green. Sagway, a PBS animated series about a Chinese Siamese cat, is based on one of her children's books. Amy Tan. Hi, I'm Malik Rose. Rule 4, Section 14 says that while an opponent's doing this, I can't run past him, wave my arms or talk trash to him. Shooting a free throw. It's the type of foul that can be called on a player who's not even in the game at the time. Technical foul. Hi, I'm Michael Finley. A substitute has to report to this person who gets to sit at a table while we run around. Scorekeeper. If a defensive player kicks the ball, this is reset and starts over. The shot clock / 24-second clock. I'm Derek Fisher. In 2001 the time allowed to bring the ball across midcourt was lowered from this to 8 seconds. "10 seconds. This Middle Eastern country borders Saudi Arabia, Turkey and of course Kuwait. Iraq. The chancellor of this nation is a longtime member of the Social Democratic Party. Germany. King Umberto II, son of Victor Emmanuel III, was this country's last monarch in 1946. Italy. In February 1952 this union vetoed Italy's attempt to join the United Nations. Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. From 1569 to the late 1700s, Poland and this Baltic nation it borders were united under a single parliament. Lithuania. He's the only one of Disney's dwarfs in Snow White whose name is not an adjective. Doc. This adjective means relating to a 200th anniversary. Bicentennial. Game of Death fans know the adjective chopsaki refers to this kind of action film. Martial arts. This adjective can be used to describe River Rapids, a lion, or the 1920s. Roaring. It's the 10-letter adjective for a creature that eats both animals and plants. Omnivorous. To interweave 3 or more strands. Braid. A constant runner-up is said to be always one of these women. A bridesmaid. Australian port city at the mouth of the Torrens River. Adelaide. Purchased ahead of time, like some legal services. Prepaid. To have attacked from ambush in order to seize, rob, or slay. Waylaid. The son of a Protestant clergyman, Carl Jung was born in this mountainous country in 1875. Switzerland. Jung called these unidentified things, first reported by pilot Kenneth Arnold in 1947, a modern myth. UFO/flying saucers. Seeing the view as too reductionist, Jung believed Sigmund Freud overemphasized the importance of this drive. Sex drive. Jung practiced this free technique for exploring the mind in which a patient responds to stimulus words. Free association. According to Jung, the collective unconscious of man is made up of these primordial symbols. Archetypes. The words of the anthem were written late in this war. War of 1812. 3 of the 4 full sentences in the first verse end in this punctuation mark. Question mark. In 1912 Eben Appleton of New York donated the banner in the song to this, on the condition it always stay there. Smithsonian. This word means a fortification on an embankment with a parapet on top. Rampart. The first Olympics at which the song could be played as our official national anthem were held in 1932 in this country. USA, Lake Placid. A halberd is a shafted weapon with an axe-like blade and a spike. Pike, in spike. Calving and icebergs occur when glaciers melt. Smelt, in glaciers melt. Tahini is a yummy paste made from ground sesame seeds. Ahi, in Tahini. The highest British honour, the Order of the Garter, was founded by Edward III in 1348. Gar, in Garter. In the 5th year of his reign, Ramses III of Egypt routed invaders known as the Sea Peoples. Shroud, in Egypt routed. Hey, gimme an I-5, I being short for this. Interstate. In the case of Piccadilly, it's 1 ring, not 3 ring. Circus. Hey bud, it's my way or this. The highway. A ring road surrounding an urban area. On a diet you may have to tighten it a notch. Belt. Spanish for road, for Tennessee Williams it was the real thing. Camino. Titan is the largest moon of this ringed planet. Saturn. It forms a large part of Jupiter's atmosphere or Earth's kitchen cleaners. Ammonia. The Van Allen belts surround most of this planet. Earth. Soviet ship which docked with our Apollo in '75. Soyuz. Comet in 1973 which didn't put on its promised show. Kahutek. On February 15, 1898 it famously sank in Havana Harbor. The USS Maine. It can mean erect, honest and just, or a type of piano. Upright. During pregnancy, this organ expands to more than 20 times its normal size. The uterus. A raw yellowish-brown color, or a burnt reddish-brown. Umber. Word used on the cover of a dictionary to indicate that it hasn't been reduced from a larger work. Unabridged. The Disney movie about this hero includes his labor of defeating the monstrous Hydra. Hercules. In the Santa Claus 2, Santa has to find one of these quick or he won't be Santa anymore. A wife. It's into the bowels of this fiery mountain that Frodo must cast the ring to destroy it. Mount Doom. Harry Potter accomplishes the task of breathing underwater with the help of this weed. Gillyweed. God's many commands to him include one in Numbers 26 to count all 600,000 men of Israel. Moses. The St. Anthony Falls are the navigable head of this river. The Mississippi. Minneapolis began with 2 mills, one for lumber and one to make this food staple. Flower. At the Target Center, you can see the home games of this NBA team. The Timberwolves. On January 17, 2001, building began on a light train route to connect downtown, the airport and this Bloomington Mall. Mall of America. In 2002, Agoue left his job as director of one of these in Minneapolis, like C.G. Azau did in Boston. A symphony. Once known as Burma, its official language Burmese was also renamed. Myanmar. A map of this country bears many Kualas, Kuala Dungan, Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia. Railways link this country's capital of Ulaanbaatar to Moscow and Peking. Mongolia. The Ba'ath Party rules these two Mideast countries. Iraq and Syria. The Druk Gyalpo, or Dragon King, rules this neighbor of India that has a dragon on its flag.